Today is Sunday, August 31st, and this is another update on my progress of beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Since my last update, my portfolio saw a decline of 1.23%, Pershing Square had a gain of 1.26, and the S&P 500 fell 0.08, which brings us year to date. My portfolio is at a gain of 23.99, Pershing Square is at a gain of 20.31, and the S&P 500 is at a gain of 10.08. If we take a look at the events calendar for this week, it's definitely all going to be about the labor market. Wednesday, we get job openings. Thursday is going to bring us the ADP employment report along with initial jobless claims. We then wrap it up Friday with the employment, unemployment, and also hourly wages. The markets are closed on Monday, so Tuesday is going to bring us the only trading day with no events scheduled. For the earnings scheduled this week, we're only looking at 4 in total, 3 on Wednesday with Salesforce, C3AI, and then Dollar Tree. And then Thursday is going to bring us DocuSign. Definitely the biggest name is Salesforce with a current market cap of $240 billion, but right now none of these companies are actually in my portfolio, but it's always worth keeping an eye on when they report their earnings. The personal consumptions expenditures index number that came out on Friday, which is the Federal Reserve's favorite index to measure inflation, came in pretty much right in line with what the analysts were expecting. For the September 17th meeting, there's now an 86.4% probability of a quarter basis point cut. If we go to the October meeting, we get a 48% probability of an extra quarter basis point cut, which would bring us to a half a basis point cut in total. And then for the December meeting, we have a 46.3% probability of rates being at half a basis point lower than they currently are, and a 40.1 chance of a third quarter basis point cut. I definitely don't think that we see 3 cuts at the next 3 Fed meetings, but it seems pretty clear that we should at least see 2 cuts by the end of this year. So if we take a look at the SPY chart, you'll see that where it closed at Friday is right at its 5-day moving average, but the SPY price and the 5-day are still above the 15. The SPY price also closed directly at this resistance level that I had put in there at the previous update, and I put that in there because where that blue arrow represents is where the SPY price had closed at on Tuesday, and that would have been the 3rd time that the SPY price closed directly at that resistance level. So even though the SPY price closed back at that level on Friday, it was nice to spend a few trading sessions above it, because that shows, at least for the time being, there's still strength in the market pushing it upwards, and we are still trading above this super long-term trend line. Another sign of strength in the market is that the 15-day moving average was able to get above it as well. It came close towards the middle of August, but that's when we saw that downturn. So the longer that everything can stay above that longer term green trend line is definitely better for the markets. If the SPY price did drop down to that level at some point this week, it would be roughly a 0.83% decline. These are going to be all 14 of my current positions. Right now, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Palantir, and Welltower make up my top 5, and those make up 39.04% of my portfolio. Nvidia, my number 1 position, did report earnings after the bell on Wednesday, and it had what I thought was a really good quarter. It did drop slightly on Thursday and a little more on Friday, bringing the total loss since they reported to 4.12%, which isn't really enough for me to want to increase my position yet. I had planned on adding some more if the earnings were good and it fell by a lot. If it continues to fall into this week, I might consider adding more, but for now I'm holding off where it's only down 4.12%. Other than that, I do intend to keep my portfolio pretty much exactly the same. Right now I have 82.35% of my portfolio invested, which leaves me with 17.65 sitting in cash. That's going to do it for today. I do make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, but for this week where the market's closed on Monday, my next update will be next Sunday, and I'll catch you then.